Greetings, Earthlings. Greetings. Welcome back to Wizdom Dropz, your source for daily drops of wisdom and savvy cat astrology. My name is Tanya, and today we are discussing Jaden Smith's chart, her viewer request. So I'm going to screen share and we're going to dive into it. And let me just say, I was looking at this for just a minute before I started recording, and I was like, damn, that's fascinating. Because as we'll talk about, Jaden Smith evidently is doing a lot of badass things in the world. So I can't wait to share it with you. If you're new here and you resonate with my content, feel free to subscribe as I put up a video every single day of the week. Like this video, everybody in the room, because it helps the channel grow. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all the support. And if you have an opinion or an awareness point that you would like to share and contribute to in reference to this conversation, maybe build out some of the astrological knowledge that we be dropping, etc. You want to link me with some facts, etc. You can always comment. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that's there for. Now, let us share our screen and embark on this journey. Seatbelts, everyone. Toot, toot. Okay, so here we go. We see before us what should be Jaden Smith's chart, okay? So basically, first things first, y'all. He's a Capricorn moon, 7 degrees, okay? Fascinating. Very similar to his sister, Willow, at like 4 degrees, I think, of Capricorn. And the thing is, though, he's a Scorpio ascendant, Scorpio rising, allegedly 22 degrees. We don't really know like that because we don't really know if this is the time. But, you know, the websites, I guess, generally do a good job verifying that. So he's a Scorpio rising. And let's just say, like, we can totally see that he's a Scorpio rising, right? Like, he has that, like, intense gaze. He has that, like, penetrating eye thing. He has that kind of, like, seriousness, like, you know, about him or what have you, to where it's kind of like, oh yeah, I can see that. Like, you're a Scorpio rising. Like, there's something kind of underneath the surface that you can't really put your finger on, but you know it's deep and it's there, and it could like also go real dark real quick if it wanted to, but it has like a coolness to it. That's so him, right? That's like that Scorpio rising. And then you also have that sun in Cancer over here at 16 degrees of Cancer, which is interesting. Happy belated birthday if you are watching this, Jaden. So that is like an indicator to me that this person is very sensitive and in tune with their emotions. The irony is the Capricorn moon is not in tune with its emotions. The Capricorn moon aspect in and of itself of this chart is very emotionally detached and very cold. And it's for better, and I'm going to give 2 scenarios for better and worse, okay? For better, that moon situation is going to manifest as being the business person that this young man is. He just started this groovy I love you restaurant thing I was just learning about. So cool, where like people who are experiencing homelessness can get free vegan food, like restaurant quality food, and people who are not experiencing homelessness pay the regular amount and then some in order to provide the next homeless experiencing person food. So anyway, it's pretty groovy. And you know, he's vegan, which is dope. I'm vegan. I love veganism. I love people who are vegan. It shows a certain level of advancement to me, and I really appreciate the idea of compassionate living that is in alignment with, you know, the idea and the awareness that like other life forms such as animals, instead of eating them and confining them and limiting their life experiences to things that, you know, cause pain and suffering to them and limit the scope of their full life quality, instead of perpetuating that when we don't need to as human beings, right? Like, we're not carnivores, we're not even omnivores really from our genetics. Like, going plant-based is the dopest thing because it provides so much more compassion for those animals. It reduces our carbon footprint, it reduces a lot of pain and suffering, it makes planetary ecological sense. You know, if the wildfires of this planet are making sense to you enough right now, I don't know what is. Like, we need to clearly change climate change, and in order to do that, we need to reduce our carbon footprint, and not only our carbon footprint but our greenhouse gas emissions in general. And methane, kiddos, comes from cows. You shouldn't blame the cows. You should blame their overpopulation due to artificial insemination. That is an insinuation of the human devastation that has become our nationhood across the world, into this whole idea of us eating slaughtered, dead, decaying entities that are known as animals, right? That we've just like slaughtered and killed and fried and eaten. I'm off my rant, but anyway, I feel that vegan piece deep. Now, moving forward, if you're still here, good for you. And we're moving into more astrology. So the sun in Cancer, though, it's about that empathy. It's about that intuition of what it's like to be that being. And that moon in Capricorn is that, no, I know what it means to sever. No, I know what needs to end right now. And what this person is saying needs to end right now. Look, it's opposing Mars. They're saying, no, there's a different way of doing this. They're saying, no, there's a way of doing this that is compassionate, Mars and Cancer. There's a way of doing this that is intuitively driven by what my intuition is telling me, Mars and Cancer. You understand? So this moon Mars opposition is helping us really in this chart. I think it's helping Jaden get through this sense of what he needs to do. He's in tune with his, at an emotional level, like we talked about, moon and Cap is not the easiest to deal with emotions, but he is super sensitive with these water signs of Scorpio rising and the sun in Cancer. And when you combine that with the fact that Mars is also in Cancer, Cancer is the sign of the mother, y'all. Cancer is the sign of the divine maternal love. So like, I think he's also identifies as trans or bi or something, which is great. You know, everybody deserves their own thing. Great. More power to you. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like what I'm trying to get at is that there is like, regardless of your physical embodiment or gender, right? There is a mothering or a paternalistic, a mothering, nurturing vibe to Cancer energy, regardless of what the package is. So like, you know, with a Mars there being one's willpower and action planet, and it's opposing the moon, it's like, oh my God, the moon, the emotions, something's out of control here. Something needs to change because Mars is opposing that. So you can see how he's kind of aggravated and pissed. And it's like an emotionally driven pissed. Like it really causes him emotional distress. And he feels anything he does is going to be from an emotional motivation. Mars and Cancer, right? Now with Venus up in the Gemini, this is brains on brains. And that is what this person enjoys. It's like really funny, just like baseline funny stuff, humorous. You can see this in how he communicates in interviews and stuff, right? Like he's a super hardcore serious, like has all the emotions in the world of this like Scorpio rising and this like Cancer sun, right? But at the same time has this Venus in Gemini, which is just like la-di-da. I just want to have like crunchy granola, like cotton candy level, like humor, and also like deep intellectual conversation about different concepts and how they all fit together. Because that's so Gemini, let's be real. Plus, Venus is in a trine with Uranus, which shows us that he's really on that like ET thing. I know Willow's totally on that, so I'm sure this person is like about that ET life and like being in that sort of awareness, if you will. And oh yeah, perfect. And Mercury is opposing Uranus. He might channel freaking like messages with this aspect. Mercury opposing Uranus, Uranus being higher benevolent beings and life forms, Mercury being the planet of communications. I wonder what star this is on, what fixed star is at 11 degrees of Leo. I need to check out my nakshatras, see what that is. But you know, that's some interesting aspect right there at 11 degrees exact. Regardless, this kid is definitely getting spirit, you know, downloads from higher sources. Mercury in Leo is the sign of God. It's the sign of creation. And that also is his like humor for sure. You know how this person is like super humor, like, oh my God, so funny. The Venus in Gemini is part of that because it's like, oh my gosh, your pleasure is brainy and like witty, right? Venus in Gemini, because it's a Mercury ruled sign similar to Virgo, okay? But also, yes, and Mercury is in Leo, the sign of God. And you know, this is also the sign of the performer and the sign of just kind of like the theatrical kind of aspect and the charmer and the romantic. So I'm sure he takes after his daddy in certain ways with his tongue, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm sure he's gotten some of that, so to speak. And last but not least, I want to mention his North Node is at 2 degrees of Virgo, conjunct what we believe, based on the time that this website has given us, is the midheaven at 1 degree. So we have a midheaven North Node conjunction, which implies that this person is coming into this lifetime to become publicly known for their craft and skill set, because that's what Mercury ruled Virgo is all about as a sign. And that Mercury is the dispositor of that, aka the planetary ruler of that sign, again, found in Leo. the sign of God. We talked about Mercury opposing Uranus. So this is on a more baseline level. This is why he's vegan and proliferating an advancement. Because let me tell you the cold hard reality of it all, y'all. Veganism, plant-based diet is the more evolved diet, and you might hear that and cringe, and you might hear that and click off, and that's honestly fine, but it don't change the fact that it's true, and that's why you're cringing, because you're not vegan yet, probably, as you hear that cringing in this theoretical thing, and you're sitting there like, oh my god, I can't believe she's saying that, that's so inconvenient. And it's like, yo, I know, ain't it? But it's also true. It happens to be true. A more advanced diet is a plant-based diet, period. For the climate, for your body. Look up the #2 killers of people in the United States. It ain't no COVID, you understand? It's heart disease and freaking diabetes, yo. Diet-based things. So this kid is advancing us. Mercury, skill and craft, aka the planet that rules the North Node in the midheaven conjunction, her, right? Her that we just talked about. And it's opposing Uranus, advancement and quirky, innovative, genius level stuff. So he's communicating this. He's like, yo, this little light of mine, I'm gonna start a I love you from the heart, Leo rules the heart restaurant chain. Yeah, that's vegan and helping homeless people. Ain't that different? And people are Uranus and Aquarius, and people are gonna pay extra who are paying to pay for the homeless people. Uranus and Aquarius opposing Mercury. It's like, that's so funny and beautiful. And Pluto's in the second house, so he's gonna contribute his change through the second house of food, his true transformative potency through the second house of food and ownership and what it means to have value at a philosophical level, Sagittarius. And this, last but not least, this person, I know I said that before, it wasn't. This person with that moon and cap though, ruthless, thug, ruthless. If he wanted to be, if he needs to be, he will cut so hard and off, like entirely. Because Mars rules Scorpio, and Mars in this chart is in Cancer, which is all about them emotions. If it don't feel right, it ain't happening. And Moon in Capricorn don't play. It don't play, because once it do make up its mind, it's made. Same with Scorpio. So this is somebody who has like definitely open to lots of philosophy, lots of mental exploration, lots of ideological exploration. But at the end of the day, they're driven by what feels right, and they're driven by how they can contribute their skill, and they ain't playing jokes with it. You know what I'm saying? They'll be funny and whatnot, but they ain't got no jokes. No jokes. I didn't even talk about this. Bisextile with that Mars. That's just interesting. That's straight up interesting. With Saturn in the midheaven. I guess I'll just leave y'all hanging on that note. Like this video if it brought you any value whatsoever. If you're out there and listening, stay groovy. If you listen to the end of this, link your sister with a little peace sign and a little green heart down below and make my day. And with that said, through next time, until next time, may the stars forever be real through peace.